Do you guys think that this should be a yearly show? Should we have Evolution 3 next year, then Evolution 4, then Evolution 5? They didn't even call it Evolution 2. They just called it Evolution like they do with all of their non-WrestleMania pay-per-views. For some reason, WrestleMania is the only one that gives numbers. But Scott, since you brought it up, what do you think about doing this show every year?
I don't know how you can't. I mean, with the women that we have, and I thought the Battle Royal especially was a great example of the pool of women that are there, where you don't even need to have a bunch of returns, surprises. They told you exactly who was going to be in it, and you just saw just the cream of the crop who are ready to come up and take over. I absolutely think you should do this every year. Give them the time, the space, the opportunity. Because let's keep it a buck. HBK booked this thing. I mean, we had black women all over the place running stuff. We had booking that made sense, that caught you off guard. Let's just keep it a buck, okay? Hunter had nothing to do with this, all right? Not a thing, all right? So I absolutely think we should have this as an annual event so they can have their space, because Triple H is booking the rest of them. Let HBK have this once a year, and we're going to get arguably the best show of the year.
Keila, what do you think?
Let's do it every year. Now, I saw the WWE Post show on Peacock, and Triple H already hedging. I don't know, guys.
This is what he did the first time, right?
He's like, if there's a demand for it, like, look at your social media. You're being tagged in posts saying, do it every year, because look at the reaction. This show is getting more praise than WrestleMania 41, night 1 and 2 combined. So you need to do this every year. The one thing you should not do is compete against AEW during their biggest weekend of the year. Don't do that. Pick a day that is going to be just for the ladies, for the weekend. Have a time of it. Atlanta was awesome, despite y'all being right across the street from Beyonce. Like, it worked out for y'all the way it was supposed to. The fans were hot for it. Pick a destination city and do a show that's for the ladies, that's for the fans, that's for the love of women's wrestling, and just call it a day. Stop hedging. Stop saying, well, we have this amazing platform across our shows. You don't use it every week.
Yeah.
You don't utilize it the way you should. So yes, we do need an annual show to showcase the absolute best of women's wrestling. Stop playing and take it seriously.
I agree. I've had very smart wrestling people say, well, if you create a show for the women, then it excuses them to create other things for them on other shows. Like, there was no women's match on Saturday night's main event, right? So I push back on that, because a lot of times, when we say, oh, there's a men's Royal Rumble, there's a women's Royal Rumble, there's a men's Survivor Series War Games, there's a women's War Games. And sometimes the storylines and the hype and the TV time favors the dudes, except in NXT. NXT is the rare place where it feels almost 50-50. Like, Sean and his team, it does look like they really try and make that show equal time for the women. Not on Raw and SmackDown, that's for sure. Not on AEW, but that's a different story for AEW. But, WWE has 3 brands, technically. I feel like what this show does is it forces them to level up the programs for the women. Because you have to have a main event. You had to have a Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. You had to have something creative at the end to get the internet talking. And if it wasn't Evolution, this storyline or this match would have been like 4th from the top at one of the nights on SummerSlam. It wouldn't have main evented, by the way. It just wouldn't have. We saw the WrestleMania main events, right? CM Punk and Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, and then John Cena and Cody Rhodes. That terrible match. This show, this match, it would have been mid-card stuff, even with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, even with Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus. It would have just been, maybe 2nd or 3rd from the top at best. So by having this show, you have to create those moments, and you have to book this match like it was the main event. What I would like, though, is for them to actually promote the hell out of it, because they did not do that this year. They waited until the last second because it was one of the sacrificial lambs, like Keela said, for the competition against AEW. AEW, I think AEW did a good job of kind of minding their own beeswax pretty much, and they kind of did what they wanted to do. I still think that show was about an hour and a half too long, but this show specifically, if you want to use NXT as your sacrificial lamb, go ahead, be my guest. The only thing that's going to happen is people are going to skip those shows who may have wanted to watch them. You don't want to do that with Evolution. Evolution, this is 2 times in a row this show has outkicked the promotion of what you've done for it. And they didn't have Ronda Rousey this time, right? They did it without Ronda Rousey. They had Nikki Bella, but not Nikki Bella in a main event role. Some women are no longer there, because Keela and I and Sam did that watch back on the very first Evolution, and same Triple H excuse after that show was over. Oh, if there's demand for it, we'll have to see what the business stuff says. The business stuff can be good if you don't sabotage it. That's what I'll say. And I am not sure that they see it that way, which is unfortunate. I hope that somebody there kind of goes, hey, who can fight for it? Hey, we need to do this every year. It needs its own day. I just looked up women's specific holidays. How about Women's Equality Day, August 26th? How about International Women's Day, March 8th? Equal Pay Day. No, they don't want Equal Pay Day. They don't want to run it on that day. It would be nice. It would be nice. Becky Hogan, she's doing her thing. She's like, I'm gonna do this Hollywood stuff. You want me in a TV show? I'm in. If I don't get pushed, I don't get pushed. I'm in this TV show. Go for it. Do your thing, Becky. I love it. But I think that's you have to. And so I've seen this happen in so many different areas. My favorite, like when I was growing up and I was, a teenager heading into my young 20s, my favorite person who would speak out was Tupac Shakur. And Tupac Shakur said he's got this. It's in one of the movies that they did after he passed away, and he's got this thing. He said it on MTV television. And he was saying how, people are saying, why do you got to be so loud? Like, why do you have to be so forceful? And he's like, well, we have been asking for years. We've been knocking on the door, politely asking. And now we have to kick in the door because there's people on the other side who are eating and we're hungry. And I was just like, this is such a fantastic explanation of why you have to be forceful sometimes and why you have to make noise. Somebody's got to do that for this women's show. I don't, Stephanie McMahon, I don't think is stomping her feet enough. And she probably, she's not even really making decisions. But there's got to be somebody there who stomps their feet and says, this needs to be a special show every year, and here's why. And here are all of the things we can do. We can celebrate these things. We can bring in these things. We can put a spotlight on these things and make this thing bigger. Now, you're not going to do that in Saudi Arabia, and that's really what WWE cares about right now. But, they can really spin this thing up, I think. I just don't know if there's a willingness or a pioneer or a fighter of causes in that company to really speak up for it. So we'll see, but I'm not too keen on that actually happening as much as I want this show to happen every year.
Part of the problem is that Triple H got to figure out who's the champion because he probably can't see it right now.
Yeah, he can't.
There's that. He only sees one champion right now. He only sees Tiffany. He has no idea what's going on with the other two.
Oh man, I wonder if that guy regrets that comment, because he hasn't like called it back into question and said, you know what, my bad, guys, that was really stupid. He has not done that.
He didn't see the whole Cody Rhodes, Brandy Rhodes thing. He didn't see what Brandy had to tell that man. You don't see me.
I was
what's
at
going
that
on?
star. I was at that Starcast, and Brandy was telling the story while Cody was right there, and I was looking at Cody, going like, "Oh man, I feel for this dude. He probably feels like the biggest jackass in the world. His wife is calling him out right now." But that was her. That was her story. She's like, "This is the deal." So, anyways, all right, off of my soapbox. But I do think that I would love for there to be somebody to speak up about this stuff.